Right now, you are probably wearing something: a shirt, pants, maybe socks, maybe a jacket. And this morning, you probably did not think about it very deeply. You opened your closet, grabbed something, maybe checked the weather, and moved on. But that simple moment is actually ancient. Every time you get dressed, your brain is doing something humans have been doing for thousands of years. You're not only covering your body, you are choosing how the world will see you. Humans are strange animals. Across every culture, every climate, and every period of history, humans have covered, decorated, or changed their bodies. But why did this start? Most people think the answer is simple: warmth, protection, or modesty. But the real story is deeper. The first explanation is warmth. It makes sense. Humans moved into cold places, and clothing helped them survive freezing nights, snow, and wind. But clothing seems to have appeared before humans fully depended on cold environments. So warmth explains why clothing became useful later, but it does not fully explain why it began. The next explanation is protection. Clothes protect the skin from thorns, sharp rocks, insects, and sunlight. But if protection was the main reason, early clothing should have started with the hands and feet. Those are the parts of the body that get hurt the most. Instead, many early forms of clothing focused on the torso and waist. That suggests clothing was not only about survival, something social was happening too. Then comes one of the strangest clues in human history: lice. Head lice live in hair, body lice live in clothing. They cannot survive the same way without fabric or coverings. Scientists studied the split between head lice and body lice. That gave them a clue about when humans were wearing clothes regularly enough for body lice to evolve. The estimate points far back, around 170,000 years ago. That means clothing was already part of human life long before many physical pieces of evidence survived. Because physical evidence is hard to find, cloth, fur, and leather decay. They disappear. So archaeologists look for indirect clues: bone needles, scraping tools, and marks on animal hides. These tools suggest humans were not just throwing skins over their shoulders. They were preparing materials, shaping them, stitching them. Clothing required planning. It required imagination. To make clothing, you have to think ahead. You look at an animal hide and imagine a future version of yourself wearing it. You plan, you cut, you shape, you prepare something today for a problem tomorrow. That shows something powerful about the human mind. Clothing is not just a tool. It is one of the earliest signs that humans could imagine the future. But there is another layer. Humans became aware of how others saw them. This is one of the deepest human experiences: the feeling of being watched, judged, understood, or misunderstood. We can step outside ourselves and imagine how we appear through someone else's eyes. Once humans developed that awareness, the body was no longer just a body. It became something social, something visible, something that could send a message. From that moment, clothing changed meaning. It was no longer only about warmth or protection. It became a way to control how others saw you. A wrap, a bead, a feather, a painted pattern, a piece of fur. These things could say something before words were spoken. They could show confidence, age, rank, group identity, or belonging. Clothing became one of humanity's first visual languages. As human groups became larger, clothing became even more important. When strangers meet, appearance matters. Before someone speaks, their clothing can tell you where they belong, what role they may have, whether they are safe, powerful, familiar, or different. In that sense, Clothing became a technology, not a machine, a system for communication, and that ancient instinct is still with you. When you dress for school, work, a date, a meeting, or even a simple walk outside, you're doing something deeply human. You're balancing comfort, weather, identity, and social meaning. That small feeling when you are overdressed, underdressed, or wearing the wrong thing is not random. That is ancient social awareness still running in your brain. So maybe humans did not start wearing clothes simply because they were cold. Maybe clothing began when we became something more complicated, a creature that could imagine tomorrow, a creature that could see itself through the eyes of others, a creature that understood the body was not only skin and bone, but a message. Clothing did not just cover us, it created versions of us. Tomorrow morning, when you open your closet, remember this: you are not just picking clothes, you are choosing how to be seen.